XRP BTC looking great, holding up extremely well. I truly think that a lot of people, I don't see nobody talking about XRP dominance, right? A lot of people like to focus on Bitcoin dominance, but why not XRP dominance? Like XRP dominance is literally about to head over, this important level from 2020, back before, uh, the dominance ended up taking a big shift to the downside. So, like the fact that we're about to break above this high, XRP is definitely showing a lot of strength, and a lot of people are neglecting it. A lot of people are trying to like, downplay XRP and say, oh, I've been seeing like market cap talk that, oh, it can't do this because of market cap. I mean, for those of you who've been here, for a while, like they said the same shit in 2017. They said, oh, they said that they said the same shit about Bitcoin. They said Bitcoin can never do this. Like to say something can't happen, is pure ignorance. Because anything could happen. That's the mentality you gotta have, but you still do gotta be logical, right? You gotta, think with, uh logic at the end of the day. You gotta like, don't just think the craziest shit is gonna happen. But regardless of that, XRP dominance is looking strong. And it does look like we want to break this high pretty soon. We're still reacting to these levels. And look, this low was made in June. So we're literally what 3 months ahead of this low, and we're still holding up, creating a higher low now, reacting to this area right here. So something's up with the XRP dominance. And also, if we take a look at Bitcoin dominance, which I'll tap into one more time towards the end of the session as well, but Bitcoin dominance is already on its overall downtrend too. So, maybe XRP dominance is gaining its strength because of Bitcoin losing some of its dominance. And not only that, believe it or not, XRP it's still on a strong trajectory to the upside. I'm telling you, I'm not saying this shit because I hold XRP. I'm not. I hold XRP because it's strong. Like I would not hold XRP if it wasn't a strong chart. It's been doing extremely well and it's gonna continue to do well. And that's where a lot of people just fail to realize too many emotions in this game, too many misinformation. Ignorant remarks. It's just pure, nonsense. People just say things because they just don't like an asset, which is crazy to me. I have nothing against none of these assets. Literally are intangible. They're not physical. Like we're never gonna be able to touch them. This is literally just investments. You shouldn't be emotional about any of this shit. If it looks bad, then you get rid of it. Like that's how I look at it personally. I don't have no emotions. I don't have no ties to it. I don't care for it. XRP. I don't care for XRP. Yes, I invest in it over all these years and it's gonna make us a lot of money, but I'm not like, oh, XRP for life. Like I really don't care. It's always gonna be there at the end of the day. Other opportunities are gonna come. The XRP might do what? Let's say we do a 20x from here. Okay, that's fine. I think it's a safe 20x if it does do a 20x from here. That's probably one of the best reasons to hold it. It's a safe investment from these areas. It's in the top five, not for no reason. So um yeah, at the end of the day, XRP is still holding up extremely well. This low as well was made in June. This low was made in April, and we have held up pretty strong. These retracements are very, very light. We got a little retracement right here, what, 20, 25, 26%, and from the low, we moved up 127%, and currently we're up 84% from this April low. So, a lot of assets are not doing that. XRP is holding up extremely well. I do still believe that this is headed towards $4 to $8 within this range next, and then we'll see if we can build a base up there and hold up. We'll see what is gonna happen once we head to these levels. I really hope that this happens. I would love for it to happen this month, with the rate cuts. But if it happens in quarter four, then it happens in quarter four, and we'll just move on from there. I've been seeing this that it's gonna come since quarter two, and I'm just ahead. I'm always ahead, I'm always ahead, but I know what I'm looking at. I know that the market is still in a macro trend and it's eventually gonna shift, and when I see that shift occurring, because I have my own lens and perspective and more and indicators for that. Looking at constantly looking at different things, different factors. Once I see the shift coming, I'm gonna let you guys know, and I'm gonna, more than likely get out of it. So, you just gotta take it day by day, week by week, month by month, quarter by quarter, and just take your emotions out of it. I've been there before, where I was, oh, XRP this, XRP that. I don't care for it anymore. So as of right now, we'll see. We had a great start to the week. We broke this little trend line. Trend lines aren't the end all be all, but it did have a nice reaction after it broke that trend line. For now, we are hitting this supply zone right here. We know that the macro is intact. I was mentioning that we could hit like this 260 area, right? Is that still a possibility? I'll say like a 20%, 20%, 25% possibility. But I think a 75% chance that the bottom is in. We'll see because if you take a look at, XRP and oh, this is a great example over here. Like, it's very, very deceptive. I can't predict I can't predict every little movement. So for example, right here, we had this low was in, all that, everything was looking good, and then they made another one. So it could be this a very similar situation over here where we got a low and then we come up here up to like 320 and then they just end up making it fall one more time. So, it's a possibility that, this does end up breaking as high and then breaking the low and then going. Like they broke these lows, swept these lows one, two, three times. And over here they did it one, two, and you see if that would be another third time. And Bitcoin has done it plenty of times as well. So, I'm just open to knowing that, it is a minor possibility, but we'll find out within the next few weeks. We'll see what these rate cuts, where they end up pushing us. I'm hoping, to be honest, I want to get out of this range already. I'm really hoping that, maybe that we're front running the rate cuts, right? Maybe the market is front running it, and I'm really hoping that the rate cuts push us toward, over $4 so that we can be chilling around, $4 to $6 somewhere up here, and then probably gonna build the same base. So we'll probably hit, let's say we hit $6, and then we just build up another base over here. And then that can give us a nice little, a chance to, let's say, at the end of the year in December, like I went over in that video, that would give us a nice chance to then get, like, let's say we're at, like I did in the video, let's say we're at $5 and we get a 10x in 1 month, in one monthly candle, then that would give us the chance to see these ranges up here, which would be amazing. So, I'm still just waiting, just like everybody else, seeing what we get and then seeing what can be possible as we approach, the end of the year, because the end of the year is going to be when it's most crazy. All right, SHX. SHX has been just, pretty chill over here. So, I did mention we could sweep these lows right here, and we can even sweep this one, but we could also react to this yellow zone right here. So, this is not too bad. We did get a little bit of movement this morning, last night, and then we got a drop right back down. But yeah, SHX is like very similar to like right here. You see how the market like look it falls and then it just picks back up. Yeah, this thing should pick back up from these areas. It should either happen from here or like I mentioned, we could probably sweep that and then get a reaction from there. So we'll see how this looks by the end of the week as well. Um And yeah, I still believe that this 5 cent range is like a magnet. So we should get, once we head up there, once we get this turnaround, we should start to get, momentum to the all-time high. So the all-time high is basically the next like macro target. We'll see how quickly we can get there. We'll see what these rate cuts in literally 9 days brings us around, all these charts. At the end of the day, if you take a look at what happened for SHX back in November of 2024, right here. Look, rate cuts literally had it push for 3 months straight. So let's just say the rate cuts have this push for 3 months straight, that could push it over that all-time high and then into deeper ranges. And we have 3 months and 24 days left in the year. So 6 month candles are bullish. Yearly candles are bullish. Just ride that wave. Quarterly candle is even bullish right now. 22 days left. So yeah, it looks like it's on a retracement right now, but the overall momentum is still pushing to the upside. So this is likely just a nice little retracement before the continuation. Velo. So Velo's finally, picking back up. Last week I did mention we could hit inside of this yellow zone. So, because I was playing ping pong over here. So literally what? Last week it was September 1st. So we were literally right here. And I mentioned, we should react to these areas. We could probably push a bit in here. But we should be reacting to this if this chart still is intact. We held up here and we got a reaction to it. This is exactly what I wanted to see. So I like this. Velo's still a good buy, to be honest, it's still a good buy. I'm not buying any just because I did a lot of buying already. I did I've been stacking Velo for a while, but um, yeah, it's still a good buy. And we should definitely, once we push out of, over 1.5 cent. I believe the fact that we already touched this zone up here, we should definitely push through here with a lot of momentum. So, let's see what these rate cuts bring for Velo. If we take a look at November 2024, let's see. Yeah, so look, November 2024, we ended up getting a sweep of a low, and then ended up pushing for 2 months. But then we got, in 2025, the price action cooled back down. So, let's see. I do still think that this has a pretty long way to go. At least at a minimum, these highs right here. I think 10 cents at a minimum. But yeah, I think we still should be headed towards this zone up here. And then yeah, then we'll see how quickly we could get there. Because if we could get this in, by October, November, then we still have a possibility to head higher. But I don't wanna get too ahead of myself and say certain things. Because we still have to get out of this range. We still have to push over 2 cents with momentum still. If not, then Velo might struggle to, just even get past 10 cents. So we still gotta see how we react, in the coming weeks and months. But as of right now, this is a good sign. I like the fact that this is holding up and it is building momentum, is building higher lows as we continue to slowly push back to the upside. So as long as these areas aren't getting swept and we're not breaking these lows, we're in a good spot. I just look at this as like a pretty long accumulation range, before a big push, which could literally take 4 to 8 weeks. Remember, and we still got a little over 12 weeks left in the year. So a lot could happen in a matter of weeks.